Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Really? I'm supposed to be doing the knocking. You're messing up the ambiance.
Well, sorry for having manners. I could hear you brooding 3 floors up. What's wrong, man?
Oh, hi, Caden. Well, I'm pretty disillusioned about my last commentary.
Oh, for God's sakes. This is the internet, Hobbs.
I know, but I'm very attached to my work, okay? I can't help but feel I failed.
Don't you start going down that path. It's a dark and thorny road, Hobbs.
Listen, I don't think I have the chops anymore. This commentary stuff isn't for me. I think I should just move on.
Oh, hell no. No. You did not just say that. Hobbs, look. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay? And also, screw the ratings, okay? If there's one thing I've learned, is you can do so much if you just realize that the people actually care, the people that actually want to see your content, are the people that you're doing these videos for. You're gonna run across these a-holes all the time trying to tell you what to do and what not to do. You can't make your videos like this. You can't do your videos like that. Your local corners are stupid and so are commentaries. How many times have you actually listened to people until now saying that stuff? How many? Exactly. So I just want you to understand, this happens, but you have done this for so long that at this point, it doesn't really matter.
You really think so?
Would a guy with silly red hair lie to you?
Well, I loaned money to some redheaded kid in the 3rd grade and never got it back.
That's not important. We need you, Hobbs. Get back in the game and fight. Rage against the night!
You know what? You're right. I'm getting back into this groove. I'm returning to form. I'm a phoenix rising from the pathetic ashes of my former self. Thanks, Caden. I really owe you one.
No need. Now, if you excuse me, I need to get back to my 12 o'clock.
But it's 3:30.
We started at 12, if you get my drift.
I don't even want to know. Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 91 here, back with another commentary for you wonderful people. In the last response video I uploaded, I talked about fair use and those that willfully misinterpret what fair use entails in order to express their butthurt with people critical of them. To continue this fair use theme, I want to extrapolate this concept to a nascent movement that originated on YouTube with Doug Walker of Channel Awesome and Grade A Under A. The two hashtags, Where's the Fair Use and Make YouTube Great Again, were the result of major YouTube channels expressing their frustration with YouTube's inability to deal with those that abuse copyright striking, those that are affected by copyright claims and DMCA claims, despite their videos falling under fair use, and those that are actually violating fair use yet remain on YouTube to tell the tale. Spoilers, the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, made clear she heard the clamoring and felt the frustration of millions of YouTube users that had enough of the broken system and the rampant violations of community guidelines that go unpunished. How YouTube will address this is still speculation and maybe nebulous in scope, but at least a higher-up has acknowledged the concerns of many YouTube users that are tired of their channels and monetization being negatively impacted because of rampant DMCA and copyright flagging abuse. However, there are always going to be naysayers. In my last response video, A Salieri 2 expressed his thoughts about Hellsing, which I found rather comical. But who is this A Salieri 2 guy? Well, I followed his content back then, but I have lost track of it now for numerous reasons, mainly due to apathy. However, in a strange way of life splashing unfiltered irony onto my unprepared face, I happened upon A Salieri 2's video on Where's the Fair Use and Make YouTube Great Again. And I'm sorry, but I think in this case Asa is almost as much in the wrong here as Helsing. Don't get me wrong, I would rather hear out Asa than Helsing as he appears more eloquent and direct with his message, but that does not mean I am prohibited from disagreeing. And I bet Asa actually gives some critique a fair shake at times, though we shall see. By the way, to the drunken peasants, way to steal my idea, copyright infringement, violation of fair use, going to flag your channel, you fucking asshole. And that's how the hashtag was born. Kind of. Anyways, I'll listen in and I'll see what I have to say about this.
Alright, I'm gonna go almost quasi-radio on this one. Time is of the essence, and I'm not gonna go search for too many images for this one. Sorry about that. I don't want to waste too much time on this stupid shit.
At least you're being honest about how cursory of an examination you're going to give this issue. I mean, if you're going to make a half-hearted attempt at a video, inevitably your points will be poorly structured.
I see this hashtag fever has hit the faithful, and it's filling a lot of brains with absolute shit. Just a few hours ago, my friend the Gaming Goose posted a frustrated-sounding video wherein he blasts the hashtag WTFU and hashtag Make YouTube Great Again hashtags.
Which was removed because he received so much backlash by generalizing the contingency of YouTube users that stood behind the hashtags, so he had to backpedal and upload a new video to cover his tracks. Admittedly, it's a more detailed attempt at outlining his points, but he also admits commentators like Mundane Matt, Sargon, and Grade A Under A, who started the whole Make YouTube Great Again hashtag in the first place, should be clamoring because fair use affects them. And guess what? There are bigger channels on YouTube, and somebody is going to notice they're expressing their concerns too. I won't launch into a major tangent about Gaming Goose, but essentially, he also argues that certain channels won't be affected because, well, they're vlogs, they're makeup videos, they don't use other people's content. Well, that won't stop one person from submitting false DMCA claims to other users if they feel indignant enough, and even if that is removed from the equation, fair use is just the tip of the iceberg. Grade A Under A made a video discussing other problems YouTube still has not resolved yet, which include certain toxic, more well-known YouTube channels achieving some sort of impervious status, because apparently content ID and community guideline strikes do not affect them the way little channels are affected. Grade A Under A talks about prank invasion and how he was able to monetize his videos after a short duration of time, for whatever reason, even though he broke a guideline of posting repetitive and harassing content online. The criticism of YouTube has multiple roots, though we will focus on the fair use aspect for the rest of the video because that's what A Salieri's video entails. At any rate, let's continue.
As literally thousands of brainwashed thugs have decided to post angry comments on YouTube videos that don't toe the channel awesome party line. Hell, they're already claiming some of us are traitors simply because we disagree with the motives behind the hashtag, the people behind the hashtag, and the hypocrisies behind the hashtag.
And this is the true purpose of Ace's video against Where's the Fair Use. Because Doug Walker and Channel Awesome spearheaded this hashtag movement, all of a sudden it can be easily discredited because Asa wishes to perpetuate a narrative. The narrative being Doug Walker is the devil and he must die alongside his compatriots on Channel Awesome due to their showing a rampant disregard for common decency. Apparently. Never mind the fact that other channels proffered their stories about DMCA abuse, including Chris Raygun and, dare I say it, the mysterious Mr. Enter, who is currently tracking the status of his current random DMCA claim and is still fighting and counterclaiming. Nope, that's all moot because showing fanboys of Doug's retweeting you and criticizing you is ample proof the entire movement is a waste of our time. I think you're looking at it from the worst angle possible here.
Alright, so motives. You have Doug Walker going absolutely nuts over fair use on YouTube, and how his poor little Chanley Wanley got taken down for all of, what, a few hours?
Yes, but let's talk about monetization. Even though Doug Walker got his channel back after a short period of time, his monetization was impacted for weeks, mainly due to how YouTube processes DMCA claims. Let's say you use YouTube to profit from your own media, and you find some joker who poses as a company issues a DMCA complaint on the grounds that the joker believes you violated fair use. Well, guess what? Your monetization could be impacted immediately, and your video could be removed, all at the capricious mitts of idiots who didn't read Lens v Universal. And this was going on before the judgment was rendered, so you can tell it's a systemic problem in the YouTube sphere. Also, still doesn't change the inconvenience other channels like Alternative History Hub, I Hate Everything, and Little Karibo faced, but I suppose they don't matter in your constructive narrative.
Because of some copyright shit? Funny! Doug himself has a history of abusing the YouTube flagging system to take down people who upload clips of his show in whatever context they put it in. Where was their fair use, Doug?
Well, if these random channels uploaded Doug's content without any additions or modifications, then of course Doug or someone else could flag down the video for a violation of the guidelines, and YouTube could arbitrate. But Asa did say for all contexts, so let's assume people did upload with their own commentary. That was years ago, Asa. Doug could have definitely learned his lesson and stopped doing that, realizing they were false copyright claims. If you can provide evidence that Doug is still doing that now, please feel free. I'm sure you have organized records of such attempts.
Ask your friend AVGN why back in 2011 he had Mike Matei copyright flag me for running a scathing commentary of his show.
Again, this occurred years ago, and Mike Matei more than likely learned his lesson after putting the Angry Video Game Nerds channel into Killdozer mode. Even then, what you fail to realize, Asa, is what you described is kind of fueling the argument for the existence of the Where's the Fair Use hashtag. You are saying that because YouTube rules can be easily flouted, channels like yours can be sent false copyright flags from companies or third parties. Well, why not try to fix this systemic issue instead of blaming people for perceived hypocrisy and only complicating the problem further?
Doug, you're a hypocrite. You didn't care about this stuff until it hit you in your wallet. When it's anyone else, fuck 'em. That's how you treat 'em.
Sensibly speaking, I'm pretty sure that Doug Walker and his gang of nerds on Channel Awesome are always keeping fair use in mind when releasing their content, specifically because most if not all of these reviewers are, well, giving their criticism and opinions on copyrighted content. Doug Walker is an entrepreneur. Unless he is the most lazy and tactless human on the planet, he would probably have done research on fair use and perhaps consulted legal teams and those who are knowledgeable of copyright law beforehand. But let's assume Doug Walker is lacking in any common sense because Asa wants to treat him like this Saturday morning cartoon villain. Doug Walker's monetization was affected for weeks, and YouTube is a primary mode of making money. Of course, Doug Walker won't find this incredibly personal until it happens to him. Imagine, Asa, that you're raising money for organizations to help spread awareness of the dangers of texting and driving. And let's assume the reason you're doing this is because you were texting and driving and ended up in a serious accident. Fortunately, you survived. Now, what are you going to do if someone comes up to you in the middle of your campaign and says, "Well, you're a hypocrite, you didn't want to raise awareness until it affected your health, you stupid duplicitous fuck"? Now do you see why your argument is absolutely flawed?
And what's this hashtag supposed to be doing? Raising awareness? Nope. It's just another way for couch potato slacktivists to act like they're actually accomplishing something.
I don't see you proposing any ideas on how to fix this flawed system. I mean, you have presented evidence that your previous channel was taken down by false copyright strikes. Care to elaborate on your plan to remedy this so it won't happen again? At least the so-called lazy slacktivists have an iota of determination in their skulls.
Let's all cry and whine over TFS and Doug, guys! Yeah, guys who whine and get their channels pulled for all of a couple of hours, and who, surprise, surprise, all got reinstated. They were too big to fail. But Johnny 2 Subs can go fuck himself. YouTube can't ever be pressured into giving some nobody their channel back.
You want to talk about people's channels returning at the speed of light? Let's talk about prank channels like SoFlo Antonio or Prank Invasion, whose channels have returned so very quickly that it almost seemed they were never suspended from YouTube in the first place. At least Doug Walker and other channels that were unfairly targeted actually tried creating substantial content. Prank videos? Most of them are faked, they're grossly unfunny, and are sometimes used to harass people in the real world. But no, they get their channels back quickly too. And so do so-called reactors who spend all their time gathering content and recording themselves making faces at the content while the content is displayed in one corner of the video. So if you want to bitch about Team 4-Star using too much content from original sources, despite it being parody and thus transformative, talk to these lackluster channels that seemingly have a huge subscriber count and are somehow prevented from all punishment and consequences. This is yet another glaring problem that you're failing to see. Even if the channels come back, they could be targeted again. And even then, terrible channels that still have a huge subscriber count are also coming back even after violating community guidelines. And you think Where's the Fair Use and Make YouTube Great Again are ineffectual, lazy methods of attack. You suggest an alternative later on, and we'll get to that hunk of shitty garbage later.
I speak from experience. I was given 3 copyright strikes in 2011. Like many smaller channels, no one shed a tear over me.
So fight to ensure this doesn't happen again. I will concede your channel was unfairly targeted, but unless you want to change anything about this site, you're liable to have history repeat itself. Just because someone you dislike is actually suggesting something reasonable does not mean the hashtag is composed of mindless idiots.
Look, guys, straight talk. This is about the 3rd or 4th time I'm recommending this. You want YouTube to change? Boycott YouTube. The only way you're going to hurt a multi-million-dollar corporation is to stop using their services.
And this is his master plan, folks. The same platform that Asa is using to vent his complaints about a hashtag, and somehow allowed him to amass close to 9,000 subscribers, should be discarded entirely in favor of, insert video sharing website of equal widespread viewership here? There's no place for these people to go. This isn't like boycotting Target by shopping exclusively at Walmart, because there's no comparison for YouTube. Dailymotion and Vimeo are light years behind YouTube in terms of video views per day and total number of videos uploaded. And Asa, you're being internally inconsistent. You're exhorting these poor, unenlightened souls of YouTube to boycott. Well, since you already were unfairly treated by the system, you should do it yourself. But if you don't want to be loyal to your cause, then your suggestion is full of hot air and does not benefit anybody, including yourself, because other than that, you offer no viable solution. Sorry, try again.
No hashtag is going to make YouTube suddenly employ human beings to run their flagging system, because that would be cost ineffective.
And in addition, you're adeptly pointing out problems that need to be solved by YouTube. Perhaps a better algorithm should be put in place. It's the goddamn internet and goddamn technology. Anything is possible. But again, your solution makes 0 sense. Hashtag, where's your common sense?
YouTube likes the fact that money rolls in without too much money having to roll out. But none of you are going to boycott the site.
Including yourself.
I recommended this to people in 2011, 2013. I told everybody, boycott YouTube. Well, it's 2016, and yes, boycott YouTube if you want to see YouTube actually change. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is playing into these big channels' schemes. See, they want you to keep them relevant at a time when their popularity is waning. And what better way to do that than with a feel-good cause they can goad you into believing will have an effect on how things are managed on YouTube.
I really don't want to hit below the belt, but if you want to talk about slowly losing relevance and having disproportionate subscriber to view counts, look at your videos. So many of them have triple-digit views, and you have close to 9,000 subscribers. I wonder if that means anything. And in addition, your view on this is so myopic that you're failing to include other big channels like, again, Grade A Under A, who consistently makes close to 1 million views each video he makes, as well as I Hate Everything, as well as Enter, as well as Chris Raygun, as well as Doug Walker. Even Doug has a more consistent view count than yours, Asa. May I try on your YouTube blinders? They certainly are effective at altering reality.
None of these people care for my interest or your interest. They only care about their own bottom line. You're just supporting another corporation. Who cares which one is bigger or which one is smaller? None of them are here to make YouTube better, quote unquote.
Which is why this hashtag campaign was entirely grassroots without any collusion from big conglomerates like Viacom or Google. And if you want to cite Doug Walker's nasty complicity in Where's the Fair Use, remember, he created his own website for his own videos that he makes profit on from his own entrepreneurial endeavors. Let's be clear, Doug Walker is not an executive of YouTube or a spokesperson for YouTube, and he has condemned YouTube in the past before the whole hashtag movement was sparked. And why are you citing Viacom? Viacom was the one that raised a huge kerfuffle with YouTube over people uploading their content to YouTube, never mind the fact that Viacom was responsible for doing the same thing by promoting their content on YouTube in the first place. The judge ruled in favor of YouTube because of provisions within DMCA, but that's all legal jargon. This is assuming, of course, that the Viacom issue is relevant. Which it isn't, because the grand case of Viacom International Inc. v. YouTube was closed in 2013 after Viacom was told multiple times that YouTube was not responsible for the presence of Viacom's content on the site. So why the Viacom graphic? Another sign this video was a knee-jerk reaction and not a reasonably researched and level-headed response. Although I will say thank you, Asa, for reminding me of the real weekly news once again.
None of them are going to go to court with Google over this.
Well, Viacom already had a trial with YouTube and Google, and they lost miserably, so your statement is rendered null and void there.
And well, Google has the best lawyers money can buy. And what do we have? The court of Twitter hashtags? What are you, mental? You want to hit YouTube where it hurts them most? You're going to have to agree to give up your YouTube drug en masse.
The very same drug you're consuming, Asa, so how about you get off that drug before you make another video again? Oh. Goes to show you're only around to shame people rather than doing anything for yourself. Such an activist.
But you don't want to do that. You love that YouTube drug so much. No hashtag's going to change diddly squat, alright?
And as I established, there clearly is no equal to YouTube in terms of its popularity and influence, so unless you want to create your own website that can rival YouTube, be my guest. I'm sure your knowledge of coding and advertising can get swarms of people to arrive, never mind the fact YouTube has already established itself for 11 years in the video sharing market, effectively cornering it. I wish you luck in that department.
Only action can bring about action. Stop buying into what these charlatans are telling you. They're selling you a lemon. And if you could exercise a bit of true critical thinking, you would probably be able to see that.
Of course I will exercise my critical thinking in this situation. Don't listen to Asa's emotionally charged rhetoric on the situation because he too is acting like a charlatan, suggesting a so-called solution that is not well thought out and is grossly ineffective, and who upon further examination is only spewing such bile because of his anathema towards Channel Awesome, may not even participate in the boycott as there was nil to suggest he would remain authentic to his cause. Is that enough critical thinking for you, Asa? And that's the way it is. Look, Asa, I understand where you're coming from. You were slighted by YouTube and you want everyone to be treated fairly. And of course, the actions taken by Doug Walker and AVGN in the far distant past were an improper way of addressing certain issues. However, fomenting user animosity towards Doug will not fix any aspect of YouTube whatsoever. You talk about slacktivists hiding behind hashtags. Your method of dispelling any YouTube injustice is picking fights with Doug Walker and AVGN over actions they committed years ago, despite not comprehending why the hashtag is important, or why fair use itself should be honored, or the other stories of other big channels that you do not outwardly have an issue with being targeted. Unless you assume that all big channels are like the 1% and are solely on here to steal all our advertising wealth, your position in this video is fuzzy and disjointed at best. Do you want YouTube to be a better service, or do you want things to stagnate and remain the status quo? Because let me tell you, contributing to infighting does not help your case, and offering impractical suggestions does not help matters either. Either you want YouTube to suffer, or you want Doug Walker to suffer. You don't want to make things better, you simply want to torture your enemies, which diverts attention away from the broken copyright system that has existed for years, and the other associated problems YouTube has. Oh yeah, by the way, you expressed your dislike for the Make YouTube Great Again hashtag. Where are your rebuttals to that? There are users that are obviously breaking community guideline standards every day, including copyright infringement, and they go unpunished. Are you simply going to let that continue, or are they problems that are in your periphery and are not worth your time, as you are comfortably oblivious to them? I don't obsess over these problems either, but if you're stating a positive claim, you have the burden of proof, and your video title expressly makes it clear that you're tackling 2 hashtags, so this video is woefully incomplete and was created so you can, again, vent about your misplaced hatred of Doug and feel a disturbing sense of catharsis by falsely categorizing YouTube users as lemmings. You're better than this, Asa. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about this dreadful video. Relevant links are in the description. This is Youngblood Fantasy 91, and ladies and gentlemen, see you all on the brighter later. Good night, folks. I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world that her baby buys the things, you know. He buys her diamond rings, you know. She said so.